My name is Kendra Hensley. I'm 32 years old. Last week, I stood in a concrete storage unit staring at my daughter's names painted on the wall. A detective stood beside me. The unit smelled like fresh paint and baby powder. There was a crib built for two, a rocking chair, a dresser full of newborn clothes with the tags still on, and a little lamp shaped like a sheep. Somebody had painted clouds across the back wall, and under the clouds, in careful looping letters, were two names, my girls' names. Names I had never announced to anyone. On a folding table by the door sat a stack of my stolen mail held together with a rubber band. The detective asked if I recognized the handwriting on the wall. I did. That was the moment my knees finally gave. But here's what none of them knew: the woman who built this room had been rehearsing to replace me for 9 months. And how does a nursery end up in a rented unit on Route 9? The answer starts at a baby shower in February, the day my sister picked up a cake knife. Welcome back to Hidden Truth Revenge, where quiet people finally tell the stories their families hoped would stay buried. If you've ever been told to keep the peace while someone else kept the spotlight, this one is for you. Before any of this, I was just a pediatric nurse in Springfield, Missouri, working 3 12-hour shifts a week at Mercy General. 8 years on the floor. I liked the night shift, the quiet hum of the monitors, the way a scared kid settles when you sit down instead of standing over them. Nurses learn one habit early, and it saves lives. We chart everything: time, dose, response, initials if it isn't written down. It didn't happen. Remember that it matters later. My husband Travis runs a 3-man heating and cooling company. He's the kind of man who checks your furnace filter while he's over for dinner, and won't take a dime for it. We met when he fixed the air conditioning on the pediatric wing in July, and he asked me out in the parking garage, sweating through his shirt, holding his clipboard like a shield. We bought a little brick house on Maplewood Drive 4 years ago. Nothing fancy. We painted every room ourselves, and Travis built the porch swing from a kit that came with the wrong screws, which he still brings up. I tell you all this so you understand what I had, and what my sister decided I had stolen from her. I earned my life one shift at a time: scholarship, student loans, double shifts, a second-hand car with a taped mirror. Until I was 28, nobody handed me anything. That detail is going to matter too, because for 32 years my family told a different story about me: that things came easy for Kendra, that Kendra was the strong one, that Kendra didn't need help. It sounds like a compliment. Hold it up to the light, and it's a job assignment. And in my family, there was only ever one patient, and it was never me. Her name was Melissa. She was 3 years older, and by the time I was 10, I already knew the rules of the house. The rules were simple: whatever day it was Melissa's day. My 10th birthday party got cancelled an hour before the guests arrived because Melissa doubled over with a stomach ache that had her screaming on the kitchen floor. Mom drove her to urgent care, while my dad quietly called the other parents. The doctors found nothing. By 7 that evening, Melissa was sitting cross-legged in front of the TV eating my birthday cake, pain-free, and Mom smoothed my hair and said, "She needs us more than you do, Kenny." I used to think that sentence was love. It took me 20 years to hear what it really was. It happened at my choir concert, my graduation, my wedding rehearsal, a fainting spell, a migraine, a crisis timed like a train schedule. Melissa was never scolded and never wrong. She was sensitive. She was fragile. She was going through something. My mother, Lorraine, ran our family like a stage manager with one star, and the star could not stand anyone else near the lights. One more thing about Melissa and I need you to keep it in your pocket for later. She hated being touched, always had no hugs, no linked arms, no hand on the shoulder. The family joke was, you greet Melissa like a cat, you let her come to you. Even at her own wedding, she and Blake did a stiff little sway at arm's length while everybody clapped. So no, nobody at that baby shower thought twice about the fact that not one guest had patted her belly in months. You didn't touch Melissa, you admired her from a respectful distance, like a museum piece, which is exactly how my mother raised her. I'm not telling you this so you'll hate a little girl with a stomach ache. I'm telling you because 30 years of that raises a question nobody in my family ever dared to ask. What happens to the star when somebody else has news? We found out 6 years ago when my dad's heart quit in the driveway with a garden hose still running in his hand. He was 58. Roy Whitmore was a quiet man who fixed things and asked for nothing, and I have spent a lot of my life trying to be him. At the funeral, Melissa wailed so hard that 2 ushers helped her out of the pew, and the whole church watched her go, and my mother went with her, and that was the last anyone saw of either of them. At my father's service I stayed. I shook every hand in the receiving line by myself. I was 26 afterward. Melissa disappeared for 3 months, grieving in her own way, Mom said, while I canceled Dad's subscriptions, filed the life insurance, sold his truck, and sat with my mother every Sunday while she cried into the good tablecloth. One of those Sundays, Mom took my hand across the table and said, "You're the strong one, Kendra. I don't know what I'd do without you." I carried that sentence around like a medal for years before I understood it was a harness. The strong one doesn't get asked how she's doing. The strong one gets handed the paperwork. The strong one waits. And I want to be honest with you because this part is on me. I like being needed. After Dad died, holding my mother together became my second job, and I clocked in every week without fail. That's my flaw. It was never that I trusted too easily. I never trusted Melissa an inch. It was that I believed my mother was mine to manage, mine to protect, mine to keep from breaking. It never once occurred to me to ask what my mother was doing with all that access to me it should have, because one August evening at that same table under that same tablecloth, I handed her the one secret I couldn't afford to lose, Travis, and I started trying for a baby the spring I turned 30. Nothing happened. A year of nothing, then tests, then words like unexplained and diminished, which are doctor words for we don't know and we're sorry. We did 2 rounds of IUI at $4,800 we pulled out of the porch remodel fund. Both failed. I'm a nurse, I know the numbers. Knowing the numbers does not help you in the shower at 2 in the morning, and it does not help you in the greeting card aisle. And we kept it private, completely private for 2 years, except once one evening in August at my mother's kitchen table. She caught me crying over a diaper commercial, and I broke. I told her about the tests, the 2 failed rounds, the money, all of it. She held my hand and swore it would stay between us. I told exactly one person in this world. Hold on to that detail. Travis never even told his own brother. We weren't ashamed, we were protecting something soft, the way you'd shield a match from wind. And I'll say this plainly because women like us don't say it enough: infertility is not a personality flaw, and it is not a competition entry. It's a grief that lives in your calendar every month, has a due date in it that never existed. You learn to smile at other people's announcements with your back teeth pressed together, and you get good at it, and you hate that you're good at it. By that August, I had gotten very good at it. So when September came, and my phone lit up with a group text from my mother, all caps, a row of pink and blue hearts: family dinner Sunday, Melissa has news. I put the phone face down on the counter, finished drying the dishes, and practiced my smile in the dark kitchen window. I already knew what the news was. It was always going to be her news first. Melissa announced her pregnancy that Sunday in September. The way other people launch a product, she stood at the head of my mother's table, tapped a glass, and unveiled a framed sonogram like it was a lottery check 12 weeks along, due at the end of March. And here's the truth, the whole truth: I was happy for her, genuinely. Whatever 30 years of birthdays had done to us, a baby is a baby. And I watched my sister glow and thought, maybe this softens her, maybe this fixes something. My mother cried and started a group chat that same night called Baby Watch, and for the next 2 months, Baby Watch was the only channel our family broadcast on. Melissa quit her job at the furniture store to focus on the pregnancy. Mom drove her to appointments, or said she did. Every craving got a photo, every twinge got a paragraph. I hit the little thumbs up on all of it from the break room at midnight, and I never once complained, and I want that on the record. The only person who didn't glow was Blake. My brother-in-law is a big, gentle guy who sells insurance and laughs at his own jokes before the punchline, and that fall, his laugh went missing. He'd sit at family dinner with dark circles under his eyes, cutting his food into smaller and smaller pieces, smiling half a second too late. When I asked him in October if he was sleeping, he said work was crazy. Insurance is never crazy in October. I noticed it the way you notice a car parked wrong on your street. You clock it, you move on. I had my own life running underneath all this, and by late fall, mine had quietly caught fire in the best way. But keep your eye on Blake. Out of everyone at that table passing the rolls and toasting the future, he was the only one who wasn't acting. In late October, Baby Watch went quiet, not silent. Curated the daily photos stopped, and in their place came short updates typed by my mother. Melissa is resting. Doctor wants her taking it easy. Please respect her privacy. She's limiting visitors. Melissa skipped Thanksgiving entirely. Mom delivered a plate to the duplex and reported back that she was doing beautifully, just tired. Something else changed that nobody named out loud. My sister, who had never been a hugger, stopped letting anyone within arm's reach at all. She came to one family lunch in early December, wrapped in a big cardigan, sat at the far end, and left before pie. I didn't connect it then. Why would I? I had a policy of not looking too closely at Melissa, the way you don't stare into the sun. And besides, that same week, my own world tilted. I came off a night shift on a gray Tuesday in mid-December, and out of stubborn habit took a pregnancy test from the box under the sink. The value pack of disappointment, Travis called it, because gallows humor is free. I set it on the edge of the tub and started brushing my teeth. Then I stopped brushing my teeth. 2 lines after 2 years, 2 clean, undeniable pink lines. I walked into the kitchen holding the stick like it was a baby bird, and Travis took one look and sat straight down on the floor next to the dishwasher, and we stayed down there on the cold tile, laughing and crying until his coffee went cold above us. We decided before we even stood up, we would tell no one until the first trimester was safely behind us. 2 years of heartbreak buys you that caution. We had lost pregnancies that never got past a test stick, and we would not hand this one to the world before it could hold its own weight. No one meant no one for a while. We even managed it. The ultrasound in mid-January is the best memory I own. The tech went quiet, tilted her head, and turned the screen toward us. 2 flickers, 2 heartbeats, twins. Travis made a sound I have never heard from a grown man before.